All right, let's talk about a word you probably hear all the time, server. The server's down. It's on the cloud server. But what in the world is a server, really? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out what's really going on with one of the most important pieces of the internet.
I mean, think about it. It all feels kind of like magic, doesn't it? You click a link and poof, a website appears. You hit send, and an email just zips across the globe. But behind every single one of those actions, there is a very real, very powerful process happening in the background.
And right at the heart of that process is the server. And no, it's not some weird mythical box floating in a cloud somewhere. At its core, a server is just a computer, usually a really powerful computer with one main job: to provide services to other computers, like your phone or your laptop, over a network. Your device is the client, and the server is the machine that's built to answer its requests 24/7.
Okay, so the best way to really get what servers are all about isn't to think of them as just one thing. It's better to think of them as a whole team of specialists. And each type of server has a very specific job that it does for you, probably every single day.
First up is the specialist you interact with hundreds, maybe even thousands of times a day, and you probably don't even realize it. This is the web server. This machine is the absolute foundation of your entire internet browsing experience. It is the engine that makes the World Wide Web, well, work.
So here's how it works. When you type a website address into your browser, you're actually sending a request to a web server somewhere out there. It acts like this super fast librarian. It gets your request, finds the exact page you asked for in its massive library, and instantly sends it back to your browser so you can see it. Every single website you visit is powered by one of these.
Next up on our team of specialists is the unsung hero of our digital lives, the one that handles one of our most important forms of communication. Yep, I'm talking about the mail server.
You know, a great way to think about this one is as a digital post office. It's the whole system in one. When you send an email, the mail server uses a set of rules or protocols like SMTP to figure out the best way to deliver it. And when you get an email, it holds onto it safely using different rules like IMAP until you're ready to pick it up. It's a full-service post office, just for your inbox.
All right, let's move on to something that you've definitely used if you've ever worked in an office or gone to school: the file server. This one's actually super simple to understand. Instead of everyone on a team having their own separate copy of a document on their own computer, a file server acts as one giant, shared digital filing cabinet. It's designed to keep everything organized, secure, and easy for the whole team to find, all from one central spot. Okay, so we've gone from the office, now let's go to the living room. Let's talk about a server that is all about having fun: the game server.
And this is a perfect example of a server's role as a coordinator. You see, in a multiplayer game, the game server is the referee. It's constantly tracking where every player is, what they're doing, and it makes sure that the game world looks and feels the same for everybody playing. Without it, online gaming would just be total chaos.
So we know what different servers do, but what do they actually look like? You know, how are they set up out there in the real world? Let's level up our understanding and see how they're organized.
When you get down to it, there are two main ways these servers are set up. It really just comes down to a simple choice. Do you want an entire computer all to yourself, or are you okay with sharing one with other people? That single choice leads to two basic types of servers.
The perfect way to think about this is with a housing analogy. A dedicated server? That's like owning a private house. All the space, all the power, all the resources, they're all yours. A virtual private server, or a VPS, is more like living in an apartment building. You're all sharing one big physical building, but special software divides it up into private, secure apartments for each person. And from there, the concept just gets bigger. A cloud server is basically a virtual apartment that you can rent from a massive real estate company like Amazon or Google. And then you have things like blade servers, which are kind of like micro apartments, specially designed to pack as many as possible into those giant skyscrapers we call data centers.
Okay, so we're at the final piece of the puzzle. We know what they do and how they're organized, but how do servers and our devices actually talk to each other? What are the rules of the road?
Well, the most common way is actually super simple. It's called the client-server model, and it's basically just a two-step conversation. Step 1, your device, the client, politely asks for something, like a web page. Step 2, the server finds it and politely sends it back. That's it. That simple little conversation is happening billions of times a second all over the world.
But that simple ask and receive model isn't the only way to do things. There's a totally different approach that actually gets rid of the central server altogether. It's called the peer-to-peer model, or P2P.
The absolute best way to picture the difference is this. The client-server model is like a restaurant. Everybody orders from one central chef. But peer-to-peer, that's like a potluck dinner. There is no single chef. Everybody brings a dish and they share it directly with everyone else at the party. In the P2P model, every single computer is both a client and a server.
So, after all of that, what are the big ideas you should walk away with? Let's just boil it all down really quick. First, just remember that a server is simply a computer with a specific job to do. Its name, like web server or mail server, just tells you what that job is. They can be a whole physical machine just for you, or a virtual slice of a bigger machine shared by lots of people. And most of the time, they work by listening for our requests and sending back a response. Simple as that.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Right now, we rely on these massive centralized servers for almost everything we do online. But our phones, our laptops, they're getting incredibly powerful. So could that change? Could we move away from that restaurant model to a global potluck, where every one of us is both providing and consuming information? The future of the internet might just depend on that answer. Thanks for watching.